We are back, and the first job in this episode is for us to lay the flow screed. The lads have already started setting out. I'll turn the camera around now and I'll show you what they've already done. So the perimeter insulation's already gone round. No, it's not, Callum. What is it, the perimeter bit? You put that down for a bit of thermal?
Expansion edging.
Oh, expansion edging.
Yeah.
So that bit there, it puts round first is an expansion edging, and that goes against my 25mm PIR I've already put in. And then they tape another DPM on top of this. Now, normally, as you know, you would normally have 3 DPMs in a floor, but because we haven't put the concrete floor down, there's only 2 in this one. But I think 2 will suffice. So we're going to go around there. He's taping all the expansion edging around now to the DPM, and he's taping all the edges. And then Martin, who was out there, you haven't seen Martin on the channel yet. He's just the person that points a lot normally, but he's actually here to do something today. So we'll start setting out our tripods to get our levels in a minute, and then we'll start getting the flow screed down. And in this instance, we're having a cement-based one instead of a gypsum one. So it dries 21 days, Martin, it dries. 21 days. Does that depend on size, though, and thickness, or?
Not really.
But generally 21 days, because it's cement-based. There we are then. A little bit more expensive, but dries a lot quicker. This is a slump test then?
Yeah, flow test, yeah.
Or flow test.
No wonder you're going shopping today. I'll take it, no Germany there. I'll get that. About 200, I reckon. Yeah, pretty much spot on.
Do you have to leave it for a certain amount of time, Mart, or?
Yeah, only with this stuff.
I mean, before you measure it, but just to make sure it's, or is it immediate, the size that you have to be in within?
You want only 1.1 on?
Yeah.
10 litres?
Yeah.
There's 10 litres, Speed. Thank you.
So about next to 10 litres put in this now, because it was 210mm measured before, and that, I presume that was at the bottom end of the measurement, was it? I'm presuming.
It's actually moved today.
Yeah. Working,
We did one the other week at Stratford Road one.
I did water, it didn't move.
We added 100 litres and it still wouldn't move.
Yeah.
So what's that move to now? What's that gone to now?
20. That's perfect, isn't it?
That's 230 now.
Is it 230, 250?
210 to 250 basically.
Oh, okay. there it is. I'll put the time on the screen now, what it actually took to pour the Screed, but it takes longer to set the pump up, and then wash it all out again, like Callum's doing now, than it does to actually pour the Screed, especially on this, because it's only a cube of Screed. So there we are, that's another job done. And then by Monday, because it's Friday today, that'll be more than good enough to work on and start screwing things into it and everything. So let's move on to the next phase then. I didn't film the rear one, but the bit of footage was just finishing off the front one. What I had to do, I changed all of that one there, and then replaced this one, and then use a little bit of the Alga just to infill there, just rather than buying for the sake of buying. And then put the downpipe in, and that will terminate at the acre, when we bring the acre round, ready to do the patio. All I've had to do is finish off a bit in that corner, a little bit unfortunate in there, but half a length of fascia to there, and then a little bit just to finish off a bigger bit I'd got from another job, just to finish off in the corner, rather than buy another piece of fascia for the sake of that, back and front, which is 250 mil, 125 this side, 125 the other. Would have been a bit of a waste of fascia, so I thought I'd do that since it's in the corner. And to be honest, when you stand here, you can't really see it. That's looking a lot tidier anyway. I'm happy with that. And that's that one. Obviously the downpipe was already there. I just had to start from there and work my way that way. A bit of a faff in that corner, just to putting the corner piece on. And then again, finishing that corner off up there, a little bit of trim where the old soffit met the new fascia, just to finish that off. And then I've had to make up a bit of a, see there, look, I've had to make a bit of a piece, because to get my levels, I couldn't take that any higher. And this fascia was a little bit higher, so I've had to put that in like that, but I think that looks quite tidy. Happy with that. All the little jobs that you get finished off, I do like it when we get the little jobs done, because it's, I mean, when we get that done as well, the external's finished. Other than a little bit of felting up there to do to link that to the brickwork. We've currently got a piece of DPM up there at the minute, but we'll finish that. And then Scott, I believe, is coming tomorrow to finish off the roof. So there we are. Next job is stud work and plasterboarding inside there once it's dry. Well, it's a new day and we're back. Now the Screed is all dry and that looks lovely. Nice and solid, nice and level. Looking forward to that. Our timbers come this morning. First thing they said, and they're here at 5 to 8, which to me is first thing. Today's job then, I'm going to cut all these back, all this roof back. Get me getting shot. Take all this that little bit off that we'd originally left on. If you've been following for a while, we left that on to make sure before the roof went on there was no rain dropping on the front door. But of course that's all gone now. And then what we're going to do, because I've got my son with me today as well, we're going to strip all these units out and we're going to make way for the new stud work across there. And then we're going to start looking at putting the new stud work in here. Get all the delivery in first, because we've got plasterboard outside ready for Matt. So we'll do that first, and then we'll get going. So all the kitchen's stripped out. I've cut this back and left that little bit of unit in there just to put little bits on for now, because there's a few sockets that we just chucked underneath here. That needs sorting out because, that, again, that's a bit of a mess. Washing machine's over there, and we can just push that back into place and push the pipe down there for now, just to put that up and working for the customer again. My lad's just cutting the insulation off there so it's flush with the floor to stop us both tripping over it. Because I've done it once, so I don't think he's done it yet, but potential. So we're going to cut that back. I've just done another couple of jobs as well. Like, I've put the double joist hangers, jiffy hangers, either side on the double there, because I'd forgot to do it. So I've done that. I'd set this insulation out. I've took that strap off there for now because, as I've already mentioned, I've got to put timber in there anyway, all the way across to screw that into, because that's what you've got to do. We've still got jobs to do, like put little bits of insulation out, but I've already mentioned that. The other thing I forgot, because I hadn't done one for a long time, is putting that thermal collar around the window. And you've normally got, and if you've been watching, or if you have watched our new job that's on the channel now, I'll put the Velox in that, and you have to put that in first before the window goes in. But weirdly, the collar is in the flashing kit. So you get your window out your box and put it in like you would do normally, and then you open the flashing kit, that's in the flashing kit, which is a bit odd. So all I've done is I've cut off a little bit of metal that's like an L shape. It normally sits on your rafter, and you can tack it if you want to, but you don't need to. So I've just cut that off and then pushed it in from underneath, and I've just put a bit of foam around it, as you may or may not be able to see on there, just to hold it in place temporarily for now. And then when we plasterboard, like you normally do, you go into your groove all the way around the Velox window there, look. And then that will be, the foam will then be encapsulated behind. We'll put some 25mm on the cheeks as well, all the way around, just to make sure there's a thermal break on the double as well. And then we are, in fact, no, we're insulating plasterboarded, so we'll get away with that, insulating plasterboarded. That's 40mm, so that'll do that. So that's what we're going to do there. So that's also a job that I've just done, hence getting our scaffolding. So now this is done, we've worked out our plan. I've set out on the floor where we want the wall to end, because the wall's going to come to a certain point and then step in to accommodate quite a deep smeg fridge that they've got. So when the units go across here, at least the front of the smeg fridge, I think it's 750 deep, as opposed to 600 worktop. So I'm going to, in effect, I'm going to step this wall in when I get to this point in 150. So the smeg fridge sits against this wall, which is where the cupboard's going to be the other side. And at least it'll be in line here with the face of the unit, so that look a lot tidier. So that's our next job. So Harry's going to carry on doing that. And I'm going to set out this. It's a new day, and we finished off by getting all the materials in. So that is now ready for Matt. I'm sure he'll enjoy when he comes here to get that on the walls and getting some tacking done. We've got all of our stud work up there. We've made sure we use the laser and made sure we were square to that wall over there, because that is the main kitchen area, as you always do. We've now decided, along with the customer, where this wall's going in terms of how far it's getting recessed. And we're then going to run the doorways sort of in line with this one, albeit we have got to accommodate a certain piece of furniture. It's got to go behind that door there, which is a bench seat, so when they come into the house, they can close the door and sit on it, take shoes and things off, which will look quite nice, and then set the entrance off quite nice. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to finish our week off, myself and Harrison, and I hope that Luke and Matt have had a good week as well, but you'll see where they are and what they're up to on the channel soon. Let's get some work done. Just want to hide from the camera, look out there. So it's a new day, and I've swapped over my the young model for the older model. Oh, reference Harrison and you. That's all right, reference Harrison and you.
You were a bit mad.
I've set a bit of a canopy before him because he'd be here doing the step today, Luke is, getting all this finished, and he's going to sort out all this terrible brickwork existing. That's terrible. Sort up the side around that gas box. We've got a gap on there as well. Just terrible. Anyway, so I finished up all the stud work up there. I've got to put some ceiling rafters in there when we get a height, but I don't want to cut my timber up yet because I've got to start this today. And what I don't want to do is end up with loads of short lengths that I could have used for this by cutting up long lengths. So I'm going to wait. And that's also when I do all my noggins as well, all through here and all through across there, when I've got left short lengths out of that. Because as you can see, it's going to be loads of little lengths, isn't it? What I'm going to have to do up here is put a store riser in. And what I mean by that, I'll show you. I call it a store riser. Whether anyone else does, I don't know, but this is what I call it anyway, which ultimately means stabs the timber off the side of the trusses. I can't cut them back because that's where the, as you can see there, look, right where the nail place is for the truss, so I can't cut back anymore other than flush with the steel. So I'm going to put a store riser in, fix it to the side and put a timber on top of that, and that's where I build my structure from. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll get that done today, and then we will start looking at things like putting the timbers in, the steels over there for the wall plate straps. We'll start putting the timbers in up there, the 120mm insulation, the gaps, all that ready for Matt. Because, you know, we're ready for him. We've already got his materials here, and he'll be here next week, which will also be next week's video. So there we are. I shall crack on with that. We'll show you some progress as Luke starts out there as we go. Right, that's what I meant by store riser. I've cut some timbers, because this steel's level, all exactly the same, which is 180mm. Sat them on top of the steel vertically. There was just one that was a bit too twisted, so what I've done is I've glued and fired a wedge on that to make sure it's upright. Made sure these are upright that way and this way as well, so that's nice and flat. What I'll probably do is cut myself a bit of a packer and attach that to the stud work as well. And why not? I mean, this is solid anyway, and it's only a stud work, remember? There's nothing structural. The only thing I have got to do, I'm going to put a triple timber underneath that part there, direct under the double purling, and then put a double on top of that to catch the end of that purling, which is always the plan. And I'll do the same over there, but that'll probably just come off the existing wall plate, that one will. Even though I have already put an timber in already and fired it to it, but I want to put something actually underneath it. So that's probably what I'll do, because I've allowed it to go to the back of the existing timber, which you can see there across the top. I have then gone ahead and done a pain in the arse job, but it's my own fault. I decided to do it at this stage rather than later on, because I was struggling with the weather, if you watch the roofing video. So I wanted to get the rear lay board on, and then get the separate, which is this one on the inside after. I have been able to fire it. You can see the nails there, look. I've got to put a timber underneath that joint in there, like I have done over there, look. Just put a timber underneath the joint. But I'm happy it's knocked in nice and tight on all, and it's really tight to all the rafters, as you can see there, look. So the timber is still rather tight, so I'm chuffed with that. I've been able to skew nail it up that way into the 4x2, which I've put on, and then again fired down that way, as again you can see there, look, in the shot. Now get the nails into the 4x2, so it's all nice and tight, and I'm happy with that now. Pain in the backside, but there we are. Took all the lath and felt off here as well, just so we can get a few things out of the loft, which you couldn't get out the loft hatch, which is some old tanks and things, so we're happy with that. So I'll structure this in now, and then this part is a lot nearer for Matt to plaster. Let's go and have a look outside.
I wouldn't go out there.
What Luke's been doing? Is it a bit wet?
It's raining.
Let's have a look.
Hey, it's raining.
Here you are, look. Lovely August British weather. Beautiful.
All the kids are off, eh?
Yeah. So there's the step. Oh, it needs washing off now because you've covered it in dust and what have you. But there's our step. That's what I wanted. Brindle internal, yellow on the border. It's a sort of matching with the drive. And we've just been pointing up like the existing joints down there. A few bits up that he wasn't happy with up there. And he's ground these out ready, which with the existing, which were a bit of a right mess. And all that look as well. Get all that pointed back in nice and tidy, so it looks a lot better than it did before. Well, it was like it before we come here, wasn't it? But we're just trying to make it look nicer now. So there we are, spot of lunch, and I'll crack on framing that bit out. So all that is complete. It is a new day. And I managed to get my timbers in under there, look. Looks a bit of a weird twist on that, don't it? Maybe the pern's twisted slightly. All I've got to do now is run that through, and I'll do that today. I'm gonna put my structure underneath this purling, straight off the existing wall plate, and then I've got to do something with that, just to allow Matt to board that in. But that'll probably be dabbed off the existing anyway. So that's that. And today, mainly, I'll be doing all these bits that we've talked about several times now. Cutting the squares out for the lights, putting the insulation there, putting the timbers in for the gable straps, and then maybe do things like knocking the noggins in behind the wall plate straps on the steels, knocking noggins in there. That's what I'm doing today. Well, you've seen a little bit of time lapse of what was going on. I just sort of showed you what I was doing regarding cutting out the timbers to put the straps on, which I've done. And then I showed you what we do with that, cutting that box out. So all I've got to do now, tomorrow, before Matt comes and starts putting his fine plastering iron all over it and making sure we've got board catches where they need to be and all that kind of business. I should go around with the foam gun, like a little bit there, look. See that? Go around with the foam gun and make sure we're all lovely. Cut off any excess foam, ready. I've got to complete the 100mm up there. I've done all the stud work up here now as well. Cut those end of those trusses off. So that's ready for tacking as well. So what Matt will do with this one, to make sure it's level, he'll tack a piece of plasterboard onto the underside of that and then dab another piece on top of that to put it through. It just works out a little bit better than trying to make sure I put that timber in exactly the right thickness, 12.5mm from that existing. And if that's at a level, he'll want to put a little bit of bonding on to pull it level. Knowing Matt, I have put the noggins in there to put those and screwed those and put a couple of screws in the blockwork as well where I can fit one in. And then I put some 50mm PIR in there as well just to stop the sweat, which is there, which is what I've got left to do on this side over here. What I've got to do over here though is just cut over the cable. So I'll probably do like I've done before, put it in, give it a tap to mark where the cables are, take it back out and cut it out. And that will be done. Apart from that then, tomorrow, all I've got left to do is I've got to put my noggins through here, a little bit of ball catches in there. So when he dabs that wall there inside that cupboard, he can tack it at the top. I have fixed my timber under my purlin there, look, a double timber under there. So that's good. And apart from that, we are good to go. We're taking all that wall off there and all the ceilings coming down and reboarding, because as you can see, the state of it from before, it was just chopping holes and then, I mean, some of that's new, but because I tell the sparkers, do what you got to do and we'll sort it, but all bits missing, look, down there, holes everywhere, holes everywhere. That there was just behind the tile, that was, as it is, like that. We haven't damaged that at all. Terrible, isn't it? And up there as well, so we might as well take the lot off and start again. Because there's a bit of a bump, because you won't see it on camera. Well, you might see that dark mark there across there, like in the centre of screen now. That's where there was a wall there, because that was a bedroom. And yeah, before the customers here bought it, it was a bedroom and someone else must have knocked through. So there's a bit of a lump in that wall, so we can sort that out as well. So that's the end of this episode, and we'll catch up with what we do next and all the bits that I've just mentioned I've got left to do. You'll see that in a couple of weeks' time. We're back up the upside down house next week, just to catch up on where we are with that. We've had a bit of a delay again on the cage for the footing. So we're up against it, we're right up to date at the minute. What you're seeing now at the end of this week's video, I'm filming probably 24 hours before it goes live. So we're right up to date. We were 3 or 4 weeks in front of ourselves, but not anymore because of delays. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you on the next one. Enjoy the sunshine.